What up, guys? Anyone who's tuning back in, welcome. Thanks for watching. So I just finished episode 4 of Euphoria. Spoiler alert's probably gonna come out of my mouth, so I would be cautious if I were you and haven't seen it yet. So it picks back up with Jules and Rue. Rue is having a hard time feeling anything off the drugs while Jules is trying to satisfy her. Rue and Jules' relationship is getting a little weird. Jules did exactly what I anticipated, and that was kind of like steal Elliot from giving Rue the attention and affection. So she's kind of like sneaking around, kissing him and stuff. And then they're playing this weird three-way game with each other, but really are still hiding behind Rue's back. I don't know. Jules becomes more and more selfish to me in this series, but Rue is really going through it. It seems like she has a really hard time this episode and season period, just like not being right off the edge. I mean, she's always on the edge, but it got scary this episode. I really thought Rue was gonna overdose for a second, and the way that they like portray the visuals of her being kind of like in this church, kind of like between life and death, that's really what it felt like. I almost thought for a second, like, is Rue, are they trying to tell us Rue is dying? But then it's like, okay, she kind of plays with how close she gets to that every time she gets this high. So it's really just a matter of time for destruction, because like I said in the last recap, I'm predicting that this plan she's doing is going to be all fucked up, which it already is because she's getting high on her own supply. That lady's going to ask for her money very soon, so I'm nervous. So Maddy's birthday comes, and it just is very interesting. The way you feel watching it, knowing they're gonna give us that moment at some point. How is Maddy going to find out about Nate and Cassie? Cassie, man, oh my god, Cassie was killing me this episode. It's funny because I feel like she's trying to challenge what Nate sees in Maddy when she's like, well, I'm crazier. It's almost as if like, if you like crazy, watch this type of thing. But the episode before, she was terrified thinking about Maddy beating her ass. So, and then she feels so guilty and feels a need to kiss her ass she gets very drunk out of frustration because Nate is toying with her and Maddy. For the best friends, it's always like, I don't care if they were not together at the time. You know that that's not, like he said, that's the part I agreed with him, where he was just like, that comforts, that's only comforting for you. That piece of information is only comforting to you. Like it's only doing something for you, because that's very true. Like, people sometimes just look for a loophole in a story to benefit their narrative sometimes, and I do think Cassie is starting to do that more. And so just the way that he calls her out on it is funny, but he's teetering between them two, and Cassie's feeling all the suppressed emotions, and you can kind of tell something's wrong with her. You know something's wrong with your best friend if she's off to the side the whole time at your birthday party after she starts drinking. Like, Maddy's like reminding him all the things he says to her. He said he wants her to have his babies. Cassie vomits all over everybody in the hot tub. And tell me why when it first happened, it looked like blood to me, and I freaked out for a second, like, what? Take her to the hospital. But that wasn't the case. Excuse my spotlight in the back. I figured that would be Euphoria appropriate. If you notice their camera work and visuals, they always got that spotlight that they zoom in on. I don't know if I'm reaching with this or not, but when they were showing Cal and Cassie both getting drunker and drunker and dancing in their own pain and joy, it kind of made me have the idea for a second, like, what if Cassie fucked Cal to get back at Nate, to prove she's crazier or whatever it is? Even though I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Cal's on a suicide mission. He's at his breaking point in the way that this is how he admits to his whole family who he really is. And the whole time I'm on edge, because every time before he even got back to tell his family, he's been driving like a maniac, drunk and kind of like barely functioning because of his head injury. But Cal was so freaking funny this episode, though. I gotta give it, like, his delivery was just killing me. Then he went back to the bar where he had his gay love, and it was sad. It was such a sad case. It's just like, you wanted to be your true self before you got this deep into life. He comes home and pees on the floor and then tells his whole family to fuck off. Also, I feel like we're seeing this side of Maddy that is like a sweetness, and Nate kind of sets that up for us because in his private conversation with her before the birthday, you know, she's asking him, why do you love me? Have you ever felt loved by me? Which I don't think Nate is at a point in his life where he's capable of genuinely accepting and feeling love or giving it. Which, by the way, it blows my mind every single time that the actor who plays Nate is Australian. Because he's such a like all-American frat boy. That Australian accent just gives a touch of charm. Kat admits she's clearly bored as fuck with Ethan. And that was the moment I saw that side of Maddy that felt like she's genuinely a good friend. As tough or crazy or superficial as she seems on the surface, for a long time, the more that they show her, the more we see these sides to her that make her very like relatable. Like we saw a little bit of Fez one of his like partners come in to tell him that Mouse, the guy that they killed's baby mom, is looking for him, so that can't be good. And oh yeah, also when Cal goes to this bar, he finally has a little bit of a release, then gets carried away because he's pretending like he's, you know, 20 something years ago with the same person, but it's not. He's just drunk and it's a random guy he's dancing with and he's just want to wrestle. I mean, who does that, bro? Like, even gay men are gonna be like, what? Like, they were so like, what? And then he's just like with the security guards, they carry him away and he's like, now this is a party. 2 hunks carrying me out. Yo, Cal was killing me. Cal was really funny as shit. When Elliot and Jules rob the liquor store and then are driving away and Rue joins in with them on drinking the liquor or the beer, whatever. I couldn't really tell what it was. They're all like, Rue, why are you drinking? Because she's already on fentanyl, heroin, and something else that's revealed later, which it was just like, my God, why? So they're trying not to let her overdose and she's just like, I'm not doing this. Take me home. I'm not trying to fight with y'all about this again. Like, take me home. We see it breaking Jules' heart, but also, whatever, Jules, whatever. And so they're both like using Elliot to make the other jealous or just test the other's tolerance of how exclusive do they want to be to each other. So they give in and they take Rue home and she's not really listening to them. I think she finished her little bottle. I'm thinking her mom's gonna catch her, but she doesn't. She ends up in her room and then takes more pills, gets really high, and then that's when she's in that scene. And all we see is a cut between her hugging Labyrinth, the singer in the church, to it being her hugging her father. One thing that somehow always comes to my mind when Rue is this high and tripping out this bad is how young she is. I know so many people who started doing like hard drugs at like 14. So it's not that surprising. It's just me being my big ass age now, looking back, realizing like the science of your brain actually being so young and not fully developed and how impressionable it is to your own emotions and how that actually affects your decisions. Rue is like the perfect example of that to me because sorry guys, my camera died, so I'm on my phone, but Rue's character actually helps me better understand how beyond her control her addiction and struggle of why she has this addiction is, like mentally, you know. It runs really deep. It runs so deep. And yeah, like I said, like it just realizing now that like this is only like the first half of your life that they go through this makes it all the more like makes it sink in that much more for me about what addiction is for a lot of people. Another thing they were kind of throwing in there was Lexi's casting of the character that's like supposed to be kind of Cassie. I'm very interested in the perspective of Lexi and how she's going to pass judgment or make something out of make something out of Cassie's situation with Nate once it does get exposed. Yeah, I mean, things are getting, I feel like this is when things are juicing up a little, because we start to see little possibilities of how one of these characters may fall on their own ass. I say out of all the cliffhangers, I'm most anticipating Cassie, Maddy, and Nate drama. I feel like the whole school is gonna make a thing out of it or something, and it's gonna just blow up in their faces. That's my recap. Let me know what you think. Did any of your predictions come true? Are your favorite characters acting out of character for your liking? Or is any other character growing on you more? Is any other character becoming less likable to you? I'd like to know. It is fun to unpack these things together. So yeah. All right, y'all. Stay tuned for the next one. If you like it, comment, like, subscribe, and yeah. All right. Good night.